Hello everyone and welcome back to Toxic Terrors. As always, I'm your host Mr.G. Today, we're discussing poisonous frogs. Well, before we begin, I guess I should clarify that technically, all frogs and toads are poisonous in some way, but some of them are more poisonous than others. Some of them are only mildly poisonous, and others can kill people in like minutes or something. In this episode, I'll mostly be discussing the famous poison dart frog. These small frogs are native to the rainforests of Central and South America. Like tree frogs and toads, poison dart frogs spend most of their time on land, getting their moistures from places like the humid air or wet plants. Now, the first thing pretty much anyone notices about poison dart frogs is just how colorful they are. These frogs come in all sorts of colors, from red to green and to yellow. But the thing to remember about nature is that 9 times out of 10, if an animal is brightly colored, then it's probably incredibly poisonous. After all, the colors are pretty much a warning to predators saying, "Hey, buddy, don't even think about it. You eat me, then we're both going down. You got it?" The interesting thing about their poison, though, is that scientists don't think that it's naturally occurring. You see, captive poison dart frogs aren't poisonous. They don't have the same poisonous skin that kills you if you touch them like the wild specimens do. This leads scientists to believe that they get their poison from the bugs they eat, and then they absorb the bugs' poison into their skin, causing a defense mechanism of a poisonous coat. Or something like that. I'm not a chemist, I don't really know how this stuff works. But anyway, these frogs are still incredibly deadly, with the one that's often considered the most deadly being the golden poison dart frog, whose poison is able to level 2 full-grown elephants. So yeah, if you're ever in South America and you see a colorful frog, do not touch it! Then again, why are you touching wild animals in the first place? Why are you touching random wild animals in the first place? Are you just going out in the woods and like, "Oh, hello, Mr. Bear, I'm gonna pet you"? Like, why are you even touching wild animals in the first place? Have you learned nothing from health class? Anyway, another interesting thing to note about poison dart frogs is that, unlike a lot of other frogs, they're actually active parents. You see, instead of the mother laying all of her eggs in a single batch in a place like a pond or a stream, she instead lays one egg at a time in different locations, and instead of being in those bodies of water, she instead will lay them on plants that are filled with water, and when the tadpole is developing, it'll eat the small invertebrates inside, but if there's no food, the female will actually lay an unfertilized egg for them to snack on. And if the water starts to dry up, she'll pick the tadpole up and move them to another location that has water. So yeah, poison dart frogs, beautiful but deadly. But they're not the only brightly colored poisonous frogs, as there's also the Malagasy mantellas. They're pretty much exactly like poison dart frogs, except that instead of South America, they live on Madagascar. So yeah. Now let's look at some cards of poisonous frogs and toads. Holy crap, it's Spider Frog! Spider Frog, Spider... I'm not finishing that. Anyway, the poison dart frog card is mostly okay, but it lists species as various, which is technically true, but usually when it deals with a family, it just lists their family, so I don't get why they did that here. Oh well, I'll only deduct about 1/3 of a point, so this gets a 9.75 out of 10. See, this just proves my point. Look right there, the mantella frogs list their family. Why didn't they do the same for the poison dart frogs? Ugh, whatever, 10 out of 10. Alright, the fire-bellied toad is fine, so good for you. Okay, this thing set me on a wild goose chase. I looked up Eurasian toad, and all the links brought me to a completely different family of toads. So, then I decided to look up its species name, and then I finally got somewhere. But guess what? Eurasian toad wasn't listed as one of its nicknames anywhere I looked. It's just called the European toad, or just the toad, apparently. So you know what? For sending me on a wild goose chase, I'm already deducting 2 points. Oh, by the way, it says this is the biggest toad in Europe. Yeah, great accomplishment there. You are the biggest of a group of animals in Europe. Wow, so impressive. No disrespect to Europe, but it has some of the most boring wildlife on the planet. Prove me wrong. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for sending me on a wild goose chase. Alright, now let's get into human relations. Poison dart frogs actually got their name from the fact that natives that live in areas with the frogs will often coat their darts in the poisonous skin of the poison dart frog to use as poison darts. I said poison way too much, I apologize. Unfortunately, pretty much every species of poison dart frog is endangered due to deforestation, which is sad. But on the upside, they're pretty popular in zoos and aquariums, so that's a plus. As for media, they're in things. Yeah, they're in stuff. There's a poison dart frog in that one movie. You know what movie I'm talking about. Oh, and they were in that one episode of that TV show. Yeah. Oh, and I think they're their inspiration for that one video game monster. Yeah, poison dart frogs have been in things, yeah. Well, that's all for this episode of Toxic Terrors. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time when I talk about something else. And goodbye. By the way, some of you might have noticed that I left out a certain famous poison toad that Australia just loves. But I'm saving that guy for a special video dealing with a certain kind of dangerous animal. As in, not one that's dangerous in its native environment, but okay, I'm giving out too much information. Alright, goodbye. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.